So what you see on your screens, guys, is a map of Washington D.C. And what I'm using this for is just to point out the actual location of Washington D.C. And it's obviously it's in between Maryland and Virginia. And so, see, this stuff a lot of times is thrown right in front of your face, and I don't think you really notice it, you know. But again, talking about masculine and feminine energy, so we put Washington, D.C., the center point of force, government, because government is force, all right? So we've put this, our capital, our country's capital, arguably the most powerful country, powerful city in the world, all force, head of the military, all this masculine energy. We've placed this individual district, this small district, in between the Virgin Mary. Okay, right at the mouth of the Potomac River, you placed Washington D.C. Now, in Washington D.C., so remember, Virgin Mary, you've got the Washington Monument, which is actually an obelisk. Okay, so obelisks, they're Egyptian, and it goes back to the Osiris, Isis, Horus, Set myth. Okay, so in the story, Set is the evil guy. He's the god of darkness, and Osiris is the sun god. Okay. So what happens is that Set destroys Osiris, and he breaks him apart into 13 pieces. So with after the destruction, Osiris's wife, Isis, the moon goddess, actually, the moon goddess, she is mourning, and she goes around, and then she finds all the pieces of Osiris. And what happens is that she finds every single piece except for his penis. So what she does in the myth is that she makes a fake one in gold, and then she uses it to impregnate herself. So when she successfully does that, and then she gives birth to Horus, the new sun god. Okay, so Horus is Horus is where we get a lot of our words, like Horus being the sun god. He controls everything that the light can see. So when we say that, you know, as far as we can see under the sun, at that line in the distance is the horizon. So Horus, you know. We also, when at nighttime, when the night's about to come down, we say that the sun is setting, like the god of night, Set. So also in the story, Set and Horus, they end up fighting, going back and forth fighting, and Set ends up ripping out and stealing Horus's eye. Now that could be that's where a lot of the one-eyed symbolism you see, say on the back of the dollar bill and other places, where that comes from. But so what the obelisk represents is basically that penis that Isis used to impregnate herself with. Okay, so in Washington D.C., you know, right? So in between in the Virgin Mary, they've placed this. We've built our center point of masculine power, and we've placed the Washington Monument, this obelisk, this phallic shape, inside of what, if you can see the lines, inside is what is a Vesica Pisces there. Okay, so just to talk about that, Vesica Pisces, it remains a difficult name, but the Vesica Pisces, not so strange, but because it is Latin, literally translate, it says vessel of fish, because it looks a lot like a fish. The figure consists of two circles of equal size. The center of the circles are on each other's edges. A difficult description for a simple figure. As often the case with sacred geometry, the real power lies hidden for the conscious mind. Your subconscious has picked up the power for a while now. If we want to make the real power visible, we first have to add some lines. In this case, straight lines, because straight lines represent male energy. In sacred geometry, straight lines are masculine energy, and curved ones such as circles are feminine energy. Funny enough, they are also reflected in the constructions of our bodies, as you can see. See the male more square, the female circle. So again, we have that. Again, the Virgin Mary. We've put the phallic shape inside of a vesica Pisces, and you can obviously see what female organ the vesica Pisces resembles. We've placed that and then aimed directly at the White House. So you have the White House over here, and I want to remind you that in the White House, where they make all the important decisions, is called the Oval Office, the Ovary Office, okay? So this is, again, going back to that destroying the feminine, destroying the divine feminine. This is kind of, it's rape symbolism, and it's thrown right in front of your face. Because remember, I want to remember that they cremate care. I mean, it's a ritual told in front of you over and over again to cremate care. So in this picture, you'll see that there's two prominent streets coming from that point, from where the White House is. That point, they come back out. And what I want to show you is an overview map. And that point is right here, and these streets come up. And the streets in the map from that point actually is an inverted pentagram. So I'm sure a lot of you are aware or have seen the pentagram before, but basically a pentagram that's not inverted. The top point is actually the 5 points on the pentagram represent the 5 elements. Okay, the top very point is spirit or soul. Okay, so that's why it's placed at the top. The other points are the elements of fire, earth, air, and water. Okay, so what a pentagram inverted symbolizes is actually a binding or a contract. Okay, so that's why they invert it, because the top point being spirit or soul, to invert it would place it at the bottom or put the earthly elements above it. Okay, so that's why it's like you're bound. Okay, so in this case, you see that that one of the streets is not connected. It's missing a line. And what this act, when you see an inverted pentagram missing a line, or any pentagram missing a line, that means that you're bound under contract, and you've yet to fulfill your obligation, your side of the contract. There's still work to be done in this contract. Just to show you, to point out some logos, our major corp logos that use this symbolism is you have Lockheed Martin, you know, the defense contract, and even American Idol uses the contract. The A here is made into a pentagram, but one of the lines is missing.